What's up, party people? How's it going? I am hanging out, having some coffee, procrastinating, going on the treadmill. I'll end up getting there, but right now I'm just like, what can I do to not have to do that? So I thought it might be fun to discuss what I call common sense talk. So, you know, Kamala fell from the coconut tree or whatever she said. I feel like I fell from the common sense tree and I literally hit every limb on the way down, right? Every single one. I'm concussed. Let's talk about it. A lot of political things going on right now, and so let's introduce some of these and where my mind goes with them. And I may not be right, but usually I am, and I can simplify things pretty well. So the ending of birthright citizenship is kind of an attack on almost everyone, right? I know that many of the far right leaning may say, oh no, it's just for those illegal immigrants that come over here to have their children so that then they can get birthright citizenship. You know what? Maybe in some cases that does happen, but when you think about what the text may look like, it might influence basically anyone. Anyone that's not a certain race or color that the government wants. Think of it this way. I'm an Italian. In the early 1900s, Italians were considered the minority, right? We were considered the lower class, and people did not want us here, right? Now, there's no Italian citizenship on these registries, right? We're white. We're white. But think about it this way. Maybe the government says, hey, you know what? We don't like Italians. Italy pissed us off. We want all of you all out of here. Yeah, okay, great. Well, at some point in my lineage, someone had a baby here, which was a citizen, right? Could the government say, actually, no, this person was an illegal immigrant in 1920, or we can't find their records, so we just think it was illegal, so you and all of your family get out of the country, go to Italy, or do whatever you need to do with yourself. So it's extreme, but it's not off limits, okay? All right, that's birthright citizenship, and that's where my mind goes. Again, we'll see what the text looks like, but I think it's just something they can use to attack who they want when they want. Cool. Um, Number two, I want to talk about the GOP and the working class. If you look historically, unions have been struggling, right? And unions are for the working class. Great. If you look at their recommendations and their endorsements over many, many years, it has never, ever, ever been the GOP. Think of it this way, especially the people in power right now, you can see that they like huge companies that have huge profits, right? Look who's sitting at his table. Do you think that he's going to want Amazon or Meta to fail? They pay huge subsidies out to these companies, right? But these companies fuel our economy in many different ways. Do you think that they're going to say, you know what, Amazon, we want you to make less money and pay out more profits to your laborers? That's not really a thing. That's not what those people in power would want. And the GOP really has never been about unions, right? This last election, the unions really didn't endorse anybody, but because of what has occurred over the past 4 years, yes. But in addition, you didn't see them running towards we don't like the Democrats because they screwed up. We're going to put our name behind the GOP. It's not a thing. And if you noticed, SEIU was just bought out or acquired by another union. And so you can see that they are starting to dwindle because these companies, if they were making the dues and the profits on their own to sustain their own life, they would not be merging. I don't care what people tell you, it's not a thing. And then finally, the whole Elon Musk thing, it is what it is. There's no denying that was intentional. It was on a world stage. It was done twice. Um, anyone that looks at that, you can explain anything you'd want to me. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Gross, disrespectful, an awful way to set the stage for what the United States is. Sure, maybe they didn't like us before, but they're definitely gonna not like us now because it's gross. It's gross. I don't foresee a lot of this going well for most of us, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before it hits home for all of us. I think that there would be someone close to us, a loved one, a friend, that is going to somehow be influenced by many of these things that are going on in our direct political environment. And I think at that point, it's too late for us to just kind of wake up and decide that, oh my gosh, I did the wrong thing, or I should have thought about this, or I should have defended this. It's just not how it works. Hate doesn't win. Hate may be an influence for a while, but eventually it's overturned because that's not how the majority of people want to live. We don't want to live on hate. We're not here for that. What I would say to each of you is to expand your horizons. I will tell you that until I moved out of where I grew up, um, I was kind of given a narrative. I was told things. I was kind of placed in fear of what was out there in the world, and it made me both scared. It made me more aggressive with things, um, and it made me kind of hide. Right? It was more of like I'm going to sit here in my thoughts, and they're just going to get pent up, and you know, fear just fuels fear. I will tell you that just because you believe that the world runs a certain way or this is your perception, if you have not tested that by going to different places, by talking to different people, right? All people are good. Listen, I didn't mean that in full context. All people are good if what they have in their heart are good thoughts, are um, no maliciousness, right? If they intend to do no harm to themselves or others in their environment, if they will take the time to sit down with even the most irrational person and be patient and offer them grace and listen and then, work with them towards a different goal. This is the majority of the people that live in our world, right? We hear the extremes through media. We see the extremes right now through all different platforms, but the majority of people really just want to coexist and want to live in peace. And it's not too much to ask for. But that means that anyone that has that fear has to tap into it and say, I'm an adult. Let's work through this fear and let's see what I can experience. And it doesn't even have to be that you go over to another country. You can go on different social media platforms and watch the things that they're saying. You can engage with them. You can ask questions because that's an open world right now through the internet. Big suggestion here. Do your research. Be very, very thoughtful about your knee jerk reactions to what you think is happening, right? Because underneath all of this, subheader on the social media that you see, there's a whole story, there's a whole cascade of different things that could lead to different events that could positively or negatively, in fact, influence our lives. And unless we are vigilant and thoughtful, and unless we are the voice of every underdog that could be, um, we are setting ourselves up for extreme failure, extreme failure. And what I don't want to see another depressionary period. We don't want to go into recession, and we don't want to give platforms to people or companies or any of this that could really backtrack us. We need to move forward, right? I'll be honest, I may not get the whole mindset of the trans community, right? I, my brain doesn't function to say, to understand those pronouns. Honestly, I'll respect them. But when it comes to like the they, them, I grew up like that's talking about a group of people, right? This is what we were taught in elementary school, right? Doesn't mean I'm right, but this is where my brain goes. But at the same time, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't harm me. And if it helps them and if it makes them feel better, what the heck is the problem? There's not a problem. It doesn't matter. So think through these things kind of like I do. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a respectful way to live. Like I want to learn more and I could learn more and I think I will learn more. I don't mind talking about and trying to understand. But at the same rate, in this point in moment, my ignorance doesn't mean that it affects me or that it affects you. So do better. Until next time. Bye, bitches.